So part 3. I got interrupted yesterday and I never got to finish, but this, the postpartum hemorrhage she told me they were able to save me, my uterus and everything, and what had happened was, when you give birth in the hospital, part of their standard procedure is to just, as soon as baby's born, just pull on the remainder of the cord and deliver the placenta. Well, that's not the way God designed it. And so it can cause complications, which it did. So usually, normally is, I guess the better word is, I would have had complications in the hospital from that, but for whatever reason it scabbed up the site where my placenta was attached to my uterus, and it I guess it just didn't attach good enough. I don't know what the deal was. That was the best explanation they could give me as to why I hemorrhaged and almost bled to death 10 days ago. 10 days later, not 10 days ago. So I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. It was Christmas Day, so my family, they brought Christmas up to the hospital, and we had it in my hospital room, and it was a very scary experience. So fast forward to wanting to get pregnant and have a home birth with baby number 2. As you can imagine, my husband was kind of like, are you nuts? I mean, you almost died. Why would you want to give birth at home? But after just taking him to the midwife and assuring him that if we let my body do what it's supposed to all on its own and don't have a bunch of people interfering with it, then chances are things are going to go fine. And sure enough, they did. But my midwives were so sweet, and they took extra precautions just for Rusty, just to make sure that, you know, he was comfortable, because that's their main goal, is to make sure everyone's comfortable. And I took this herb, I don't remember what it's called, but it was like a little drink that they gave me afterwards to help assure the clamping of the uterus so the bleeding would stop. And, you know, my biggest argument, because a lot of people would ask me that, you know, you almost bled to death, why would you want to have your baby at home, was I was at home in the first place when I started bleeding, so I obviously made it to the hospital fine. Yes, we pushed timing a little bit, but it didn't get really bad until we got to the ER and they started jacking around with my uterus and having their hands stuck in me, that it really started to get bad. That's why blood pressure dropped. That's when, you know, everything started to become an emergency. And so, you know, I got to the hospital fine the first time, and it was 20 minutes away. So, you know, we knew that if should anything, a problem come up with the home birth, that we also would transfer. So, you know, it's not like you just throw caution to the wind when you have a home birth. You know, part of picking your midwife is picking one who's smart enough to know when it's time to transfer, and when everything is okay and when you can stay home. So anyway, if anybody has any other questions, just ask. I know I went through these kind of fast. I'm just kind of going off by memory, and not specific. So if anybody has any questions about our decision to home birth, after our experience at the hospital, more questions on what our experience was like at the hospital, just ask. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm gonna do my version of my sister's birth story.